It is Sunday evening in January 2016, and welcome to an introduction of Visionary and Capricoin this evening. We've had an amazing, exciting day today with our company. We're breaking new records every week, new volume records, new membership records. Quite a few people are making money with Visionary. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later in today's call, but honestly, there could never be a better time to be involved in what we're calling the digital revolution. And it is an exciting time, 2016. We're really going to take off. We haven't even gotten out of January yet, and people are just talking. People are starting to learn about Visionary and Capricoin a little bit more than they did before. News is getting out, which is exciting. So today I am going to be talking and share this revolution with you guys. And it's an industry that really not a lot of people have even heard of it. Probably 90% of us are even unaware of it. There's only about 10% of the population that really know or understand what we're going to talk about tonight. And that's what makes this opportunity so rewarding, because as you know, it's always staying ahead of the trends that is going to have the most massive potential for profit within any industry, no matter what industry it is. That always holds true. All right, but first, a little bit about me so that you know who the voice is behind the webinar. But my name is Nicole Peterson, and I'm one of the founding members of Visionary. I'm a mom of two teenagers who sometimes drive me crazy, but also at the end of the day are the most rewarding part of my life, as any mom or parent knows. But they keep me busy, that's for sure. But I guess I really started learning about kind of how to diversify my income back in 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. It was after my divorce, because I no longer had a spouse to rely on with that retirement income. And that's when, I actually met Andy Morbitzer, who's here in this picture. He's actually currently our president and co-owner of Visionary, but I met him about 4.5 years ago through another company. And I had questions about finance, and he was, he's got this background of 20 years on Wall Street, so he was the perfect guy to go to. So I asked him all about it. And we got to know each other a little bit better, and we found out our strengths and our weaknesses, we really complemented each other, and we became business partners over the years. Last year, we were fortunate enough to find out about this opportunity, and we were flown to Spain by the other co-owners. And that was when Andy actually decided to become a co-owner as well as the president and global master distributor for Visionary. And we haven't looked back since, and it's been one exciting ride. I knew nothing about what we're going to touch on today. I've kind of just been learning about it ever since. Now, Andy obviously knew more about it than me because of his background, but I'm still growing and learning. And that's the great thing about this company, is that even if it's a topic that you may never have heard of, you don't need any expertise to be involved in this company. And we've got plenty of testimonials and members who are like myself back in April, who have been learning about this ever since. So last September, we flew the leaders over to Spain on an all expenses paid trip. Airfare, 5-star luxury hotel included, all meals paid for. It was an amazing event, and that's, we really kind of wanted to reward our leaders. And this is a group of us, sunny skies in Spain. It was absolutely amazing. We had such a blast, and we did some great training as well, and really learned about what the big picture is for this company as well as for our futures. So what is happening? A revolution is happening, and it's really driven by technology, and it's definitely affecting all of us. And we're going to show you how you can profit from this little known technology, which is poised to really disrupt the largest industry on the planet. And that's the currency and finance markets. This is a $16 trillion market. It's huge. It's the biggest market on the planet. It's actually hard to estimate just how big it is because every other single industry is using the global banking and exchange system. So today we're going to show you how the global and finance and currency markets, how they're due for massive disruption. We see some manipulation in the markets today. It's really destroying the faith of citizens that we have in our financial system. You know, banks and governments are going broke around the world, and it's debts that countries like US, Germany, Japan, even China, they're now coming due. So this is a cute little cartoon, and it says, according to our calculations, Dad's reading it to his kids, we can make it if we become a six income family. Now, as funny as that is, it's really not all that funny because there's a little bit of truth into it. You know, when I grew up, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. You know, we could live off of one income. You know, we hear about the breadwinner back in the day. Actually, you don't hear that term too often anymore. There aren't too many breadwinners in a family. It's typically both parents are working. There's no breadwinner. That term, you know, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, we might use the term breadwinner, and they may not know what we're talking about. So inflation has really hit, and it's becoming tougher and tougher these days. And a lot of families are taking on second and third jobs just to pay for the kids' dancing lessons or sporting activities. So it begs the question, you know, will my kids be better off? There was actually this report done that for the first time since the Great Depression, the next generation will not be wealthier than their parents. Think about that. Think about how awful that is. The first generation. And honestly, to be honest, I see it a little bit even with my generation. I've got friends that I went to high school with, and I have to say that they are not better off than their parents. They're not living in the well-off area that I was fortunate enough to grow up in. So it's not even our next generation, it's my generation. So it's becoming a reality. And we're not, I guess, living in the world that we once were. And you really want to see your kids do well. I mean, as a parent, I really want to see my kids do better off than me. So what can we do about that? Well, this new technology, it could protect you and your family, as well as turn the entire banking industry inside out. This isn't a game changer. We're creating an entirely new game. Some new rules, some new players. It's exciting. More importantly, we're going to show you how ordinary people, just like us, not just the ultra rich, can get in. This is a once in a million opportunity, guys. Honestly, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. The entire banking system is now on the brink of really disruptive change, which means there's a massive potential to profit within this $16 trillion industry. We've all heard about the silver lining around the cloud, right? And that's what this opportunity is. Because the cloud is the global markets, and they're showing terrible signs of stress. And this is affecting everyone, including and especially the people in the United States. But it does pay to understand what's going on with the global currency and finance markets and why. So in Greek, or in Cyprus, you know, they've got a very fragile recovery. You know, they've been hurting and they're not doing so well right now. We've got people lining up at their bank and ATMs, trying to just take out 60 euros a day. When I did the math on this, I originally thought that I could possibly live off of 60 euros a day. And then I actually thought about it and did the math on it. And I thought, oh my gosh, that wouldn't even cover my bills. Not to mention, I'd have to go to the bank every day to make sure I get my 60 euros because it's limited. And then to take the time to even line up in the line, a huge inconvenience, right? So these poor people in Greece, they've trusted the banks with their money, with their life savings, and now the banks are telling them that they don't have access to it. And why? It's pretty much because the banks only carry 1% of the money that you put in. The rest they loan out, and that's how they make their money. So when there's a run on the banks, they don't have your money. So if you think that you've got, I don't know, if your bank account statement when you log in online says you've got $5,000 in your bank account, that $5,000 is not in your bank. Oh, and you know what? The other thing I learned the other day, this was very surprising and shocking actually, but I actually learned that legally the banks own your money. And I didn't know that before. I was really surprised. But supposedly, the banks, they treat depositors' cash like it's their own asset because legally it is. Your money is the bank's asset as soon as you put it in the bank. It's not yours. And they can do whatever they want with your money. So that's why you'll always see posts of mine on Facebook about how the banks are unsafe. And that's pretty much why. So of course, it's no big surprise that these people in Greece are turning to alternative currencies and even some barter systems, but it's flourishing over in Greece. And of course, we've got Iceland and the banking system in there. These poor people, they went to sleep one night and then they actually woke up the next morning and were told that everything was twice as expensive as the day before. So can you imagine waking up and finding out that you're making the same amount of money, but your groceries just doubled, your bills, your electricity, your hydro, everything just doubled. Argentina's in debt, and we all know that Zimbabwe's been in a crisis for a while now. So the euro's really getting smoked. That's kind of a funny word, but it's declining every day, and currencies are declining all over the world. Japan's government is really a tsunami of debt. I guess the point to all of this is that governments all over the world are in debt and currencies are collapsing. Yet we still kind of have this belief that the status quo can remain, the belief that sound fundamentals doesn't seem to matter anymore. But you know what? They always do. It's kind of like gravity. They always have, and they always will. So I have this analogy, and it's kind of like a jet flying through the sky. They can actually defy gravity. We all know these planes, how, with the weight that they carry, how on earth can they even get off the ground? They actually defy gravity until it runs out of fuel. And everything that we're looking at in the financial markets, it's telling us that we're running on fumes right now. So we always assume the currency crisis and the manipulation will never happen to us, right? It's always going to happen to somebody else. But it will happen to us. And the reason the US dollar is so important to everyone globally, not just the people in the US, is because the US is the world reserve currency. And the US dollar is doomed, just like those other currencies are doomed. And it's really not a question of if, but when. So Ron Paul, who is the former US presidential candidate and 22-year-old congressman, had this to say.
I believe we as a nation are on the brink of a massive financial crisis, infinitely worse than the crisis of 2008. And that's because it won't be a banking and mortgage problem, but a full-blown currency crisis, the likes of which we've never experienced in this country. The savings of millions of people could be wiped out overnight. The stock market could crash by 50% or more. The way of life we've enjoyed as Americans for 50 years could come to an end. It's not a question of if this will happen, but when.
So this is creating all sorts of problems, which in itself is causing people to seek out solutions. And that's what we're going to talk to you about tonight, is a solution. It really actually wouldn't be possible for this technology to be so disruptive if this had been developed 15 years ago, simply because the pressures to making what is really drastic change really didn't exist. Today they exist because of the very broken system that the central banks have created and continue to create. This really is a revolution of our entire financial industry. The impending collapse of the euro, the yen, the dollar, and probably the Chinese yuan is coming. And so we know there's a huge currency and debt crisis coming, but what can average people do about it? It's a big problem, but the bigger the problem, the bigger the solution, which means the bigger the paycheck. So we're going to talk about some technologies which disrupt this really archaic, dysfunctional currency banking system that's in existence today, so that how we can, and show you how you can have a massive profit potential from this disruption. We're going to talk about two really revolutionary technologies that all of us can profit from. And one is this little known technology that's going to be the future of currency. It's referred to as the blockchain. And you may have heard of Bitcoin. It was actually came out in 2009. It's the original cryptocurrency, which is kind of like a digital currency. But the developers of Bitcoin, they developed this blockchain technology. And it's revolutionary in financial technology. And it may be a term you've never heard of before. So here's what it actually means in layman's terms. It provides a way for any data or information to be stored electronically and is distributed across an entire user base of members. It's the world's largest digital public ledger, recording transactions electronically. So I always say, when I write a check, I always take note of who it's to, what the amount is, and what's the date. And technically, this blockchain stores all of that same information that I write for my checks. It just does it electronically, and that's what we're talking about today. So when you and I transact with one another, we typically will require somebody to trust. We'll go to a lawyer, or we'll go to financial intermediaries. We'll sign documents like wire transfers at a bank, and they'll assist us in transferring that money. So that's how our existing financial structure works. Now, the blockchain is a technology that eliminates that intermediary. And why is it so revolutionary? Because it's convenient, it's faster, it's safer, it's more efficient. Nobody owns the blockchain, which means nobody can limit how much money you take out of your bank account every day. It's stronger, it's more robust. It's got encrypted security and verification. These are all things we need in our banking system when we control and manage our own money. Who doesn't want these types of things? And all of these financial transactions, they're happening with cryptocurrency. And all it is a digital money that's encrypted. So we're already starting to see the world change at a really fast pace, and it's really hard to keep up with technology today. I know my grandmother and even my mother are having a hard time keeping up with technology. My grandmother's passed on now, but my mother is still afraid to use a banking ATM. Now, granted, she's from a different generation, but it just goes to show you that, it is changing so fast. Some of us are keeping up and some of us aren't, right? Like my mother. But we're all overdue. We really are overdue for technology to disrupt the financial industry. The banking system's really archaic today. We've seen technology disrupt almost every other industry on this planet, except the financial industry. It's the one industry that it hasn't disrupted yet. And how long do you think that's going to hold out for? It's just a matter of time. So here I want to share with you 3 industries that have been completely disrupted so that you can see and just fully grasp the impact of not only how technology can massively, affect us and disrupt our financial industry very successfully, but also in combination with another technology that's, called peer-to-peer transactions. And why is this important to you? Because I want to show you where this will transition with the way that we conduct finance today, how we send and receive money today. It's changing, and anyone who can see where this is going and get started now will be able to profit in this $16 trillion global financial industry. So here's the first industry I want to share with you, and it's about media. So now for the last 1,000 years, since the printing press was invented, just about a decade and a half ago, media worked in a single way. It was really broadcast to us. We were consumers where, we were reading newspapers and print. We're listening to radio or watching television. We consumed whatever the information that was given to us, that was handed to us. And this is a very centralized meaning. The power was in the hands of a very few. But now you see over the decades, it's completely changed. And we have social media like platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Anybody now has the power of primetime television from the palm of their hands with smartphones. It's amazing. This is where a kid can post a video on YouTube and he gets more hits than NBC at 8 p.m. at night. And there's countless examples of that. Coney of the viral video of 2012, it went so viral, it was equivalent to $600 million of earned media in a single week. And it was made by some kids with a video camera, basically. Gangnam Style. Who would have thought a Korean rapper like Gangnam would become the most popular video on planet Earth with over 1 billion views, which I would have to imagine is more than most of our A-list Hollywood celebrities. So all of a sudden, technology platforms have come in and made possible an entire new era of media, where we get to be the creators of the media. These social media platforms, they're allowing us to share content, information, education on a scale that no one has ever seen before. It will never be the same. It's never going back. All the old media companies, they're trying to figure out what to do about their declining numbers, but it's not going to change. The media industry has disrupted and decentralized. So the next industry we're going to look at is an even crazier story. I love this story because it is so crazy. And this starts about 8 years ago in 2008 with 3 guys who they were so broke they couldn't afford to pay rent living in their San Francisco apartment. So these 3 guys, they decide that they're going to rent air mattresses out of their living room. And can you imagine? It's a true story, but they didn't want to put their ads on Craigslist because it was too impersonal. So they did build their own website called Airbnb, and they rented these air mattresses out of their living room. They had guests coming in, and in a couple of weeks, they actually started getting emails saying, hey, is this going to be available in London, Buenos Aires, and other cities? Now, if you fast forward today, Airbnb is valued at $25.5 billion, and they've done that in 8 years. And what's crazy is there's no central hotel. No hotel. What they've done is they've created a technology platform that's renting 550,000 rooms per night right now. It's the largest one on the planet that allows anyone to be in the hotel business. So if you've got a spare room in your house, you can sign up with Airbnb and rent that room right out, all through technology. So with technology and this peer-to-peer platform, you don't have to be Hilton or Marriott anymore. I can be me, little old me, living in, let's say, a $1,500 a month apartment or whatever it is, renting out a room. And guess what? I'm tapping into billions of dollars of wealth that exist in the hospitality industry. How huge is that? And our third industry is the transportation industry. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this little company called Uber, right? Well, it's not so little anymore. This is the fastest growing startup in the history of the planet, of all time. In all of history, no other company has grown faster than Uber. In less than 7 years, they're worth over $50 billion. And how'd they do it? They used technology and peer-to-peer transactions to disrupt the taxi industry. So all of a sudden, you don't need to be some central taxi authority or cab. Anybody who has a car and a smartphone can become their own taxi driver. If you've got some spare time in a car, then you can rent yourself and make money off Uber's platform. So guess what? They've signed up over 1 million drivers around the world, and they're already sharing rides every single day. Again, it's now decentralized, and it will never be the same again. So all three of these industries are clear examples of what's happening on planet Earth. And the next industry, as I said before, the next industry that technology has not hit yet is the finance industry. Uber and Airbnb, they're great examples. They completely disrupted their industries, and they made early stage investors really rich. These investors in these companies made 6,000% returns. This industry is disrupting an industry that is 1,000 times larger than Uber's market. The taxi industry is small. It's only 12 billion, and the global financial industry is worth 1,000 times that. So this is a kind of an interesting chart, actually, which I really like. It kind of puts everything into a perspective. But Airbnb, it's the world's largest accommodation provider, yet they own no real estate. Alibaba, the most valuable retailer, has no inventory. Facebook, the world's most popular media owner, they literally create no content of their own. Who's creating their content? You, me, we're all doing it. Uber, the world's largest taxi company, own no vehicles. And then we come to Bitcoin, which we've said is the original cryptocurrency. And they're the world's largest bank, yet they have no actual cash. This is where this industry is going. This is how big of a potential this opportunity is. We are moving from a world of centralization to one of decentralization, along with money. Like cryptocurrencies, it's just math and it's owned by no one. So for example, this is a news article about a Norwegian man who was actually doing a thesis in university on Bitcoin. So he decided to invest $26 into it and completely forgot about it until he was in his apartment one day and heard about it on the radio. They were talking about how Bitcoin had made millionaires overnight. And so he decided to log into his Bitcoin wallet and found out that his little $26 worth of Bitcoin a few years ago had turned into $850,000. So that's kind of a nice surprise, huh? What we're doing with Capricoin is we see where this is going. We see the vision of where and how huge this potential is. And so we've made it our mission this year to create 100 millionaires in 2016. And we might even be lowballing that number. Today, we had a couple of members actually hit the millionaire mark. And this is Visionary. We actually started, well, as I said, Andy and I flew over to Spain last April, and we started growing this company last May of 2015. So we've been doing this for 9 months. So that's 9 months, and we've created a handful of millionaires today already. So very exciting. The global financial system is broken. The markets are corrupt. The central banks have ruined their own fiat currency. So what are we going to do? We've created a way for ordinary people to still transact, to still live their lives, and to still move money around without going through the banking system. And this is what we call the digital revolution. So here's the solution. We're going to talk about what we can do to solve all of this. And we're talking about a new global currency. And it's an instant digital payment solution as well. This is revolutionary. And what all this is going to do is really just provide some peace of mind for a lot of people. Talk about this quote. This is a quote from Bill Bonner. He's the founder and president of Agora Publishing, and I've been on his news publishing list for well over a year. And last year, he actually didn't believe in digital currencies or Bitcoin. And he's did a little bit of research, and it was funny watching how his position started to slowly change with each newsletter that he was publishing. And now he says that digital currency is the first improvement in money in 5,000 years. He's done his research, and he's liking what he sees, and he sees where this industry is going. So Bitcoin really was the first cryptocurrency established. Believe it or not, it's now accepted as a global currency at over 400,000 companies. And there are some big name companies that Bitcoin is actually accepted, branded companies that you probably know of. Companies like Expedia, Virgin Atlantic, Overstock.com, Dell Computers, so 7-Eleven, believe it or not. I mean, these are all branded companies, and believe it or not, they all accept Bitcoin. So it is starting to slowly become more mainstream and more widely known by the public, even though, honestly, a lot of the public doesn't still know or fully understand what cryptocurrency is and how it all works. So how is Capricoin better than Bitcoin? Well, Capricoin is what's known as a second generation cryptocurrency, which means, we've got instant payments. So transactions are going to occur much faster than Bitcoin. Transactions with Bitcoin can take anywhere still probably from 20 minutes to a couple of hours. I've even heard some people say up to 7 hours. The average is probably around 2 to 4 hours for a transaction with Bitcoin. So, and with Capricoin, it takes about 3 seconds. It's very similar to using a credit card. We're actually going to be one of the first cryptocurrencies that can handle large volumes of commercial transactions. But to put this into perspective, so let's put this into, a real world situation. Let's say you're at the pizza store and you want to pay with, your cryptocurrency. That could mean the difference between purchasing a hot pizza or a cold pizza, right? So transactions are less expensive with Capricoin than even the traditional banking methods. We have a peer-to-peer platform. So now you can actually send your money to your friends, family, business colleagues with very low fees, and it's instant. So there's no waiting 2 or 3 days for the banks to clear those funds. Bitcoin's expensive to mine. You actually need hardware, software, and electricity to mine these coins. And right now, you can accumulate Capricoin for pennies on the dollar, much like the early adopters did with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has a delay in conversion to global currencies. With Capricoin, we're going to see instant global transactions. And one of the biggest reasons why Capricoin is different from Bitcoin is that a lot of investors got involved, speculative investors got involved with Bitcoin. They really didn't have a formal marketing strategy. And we at Vizionary do. Vizionary is the marketing distribution arm for Capricoin. And we've got this strong group of entrepreneurs really going out and promoting it. And it's probably one of the reasons why we're already breaking Bitcoin's records in terms of the value on the external exchanges and getting it out there. And so it's really exciting times. Capricoin is a legitimate currency. It's available on 3 public exchanges. You can find it on bittrex.com, bluetrade.com, and coinmarketcap.com. And it's really designed to protect and secure your finances. It's really a lot safer than holding your money in your bank account. As I said before, we're designed to handle high volumes of e-commerce, and we're designed to be a global payment solution. One of the reasons that we will go mainstream faster than Bitcoin is because we have that instant transaction, much similar to a credit card. Capricoin customers have been labeled the people's coin. It's really easy to use. It's right on your smartphone. And we're going to see that coming in this day and age, the next generation. You see them all. I work from home, so I look out my window, and I live right by a high school. So I see all these teenagers walking by, and they don't look ahead of them anymore. They're all looking down at their smartphones as they're texting. You know the next generation will be paying for everything on their smartphones. It's all going mobile. They won't carry wallets or purses. I don't know, maybe the girls will still carry their lipsticks. We've got peer-to-peer secure instant transactions. Zero transaction fees. How is that? That's a little bit better than the bank. When have you ever gone to the bank and they haven't charged you a transaction fee? There would be no limits on how much or how little money you can send. I say how little because think about, let's say you only need to send $20 to your daughter who's in university across the pond, so they're not, local at university. But you certainly don't want to pay $30 to $40 for a wire transfer fee to send $20, do you? Instant transaction globally. And we're going to have cashbacks and discounts with a loyalty program. We're going to be introducing this to merchants. And that's one of the reasons that is going to make this Capricoin go viral and be a mainstream transaction, a global payment solution. So some of the reasons that it's going to be really attractive for the merchants that we bring into our program is it's completely free of charge. There's no cost to join, and there's no setup or monthly fees. All they have to do is just download the merchant app, which is free. There's going to be instant verification of payment, which offering another currency will attract new customers because we'll have members who are looking to spend their Capricoins. And digital currencies offers no chargebacks and no fraud. And there's not going to be any payment processing fees, and this is huge for merchants. A lot of small local merchants can't afford the 3 to 5% credit card payment processing fees. It really eats into their profit. There's going to be a marketing tool free of charge. This will be fantastic. They'll be able to offer things like coupons and 2-for-1 specials and kind of Groupon offers and putting offers out there. It'll be a fantastic marketing tool and no cost. And they'll be able to make money from their Capricoin customers. So who is behind Vizionary? And, one of the things that, you should always look at when you're joining any company is who's running it behind the scenes. Are they reliable, credible? And obviously, because of my situation and being with Andy, I've got a little bit of a different perspective on these gentlemen. But we've got Ladislav Pastor over on the left. He is the CFO of Vizionary, and he is a true businessman. He actually managed and owned 80 retail stores and sold them all to do Vizionary exclusively. Frode Berg, to the right of Ladislav, is the CEO, and he's had many successful years in networking as well as business. Andy Morbitzer, who is the president of Vizionary, has a background of 20 years in and around Wall Street and financial advisor as well as a very successful career, 15 years in the network marketing industry, and was a master distributor of 2 other companies before Vizionary. And then we've got Jesper Benson on the right, who is the network advisor for Vizionary. And he has also got a very highly successful networking background. So all of these men, I can tell you, from working with them virtually on a daily basis, they really truly have what I like to quote unquote call true vision of where this company is going and where it is headed. And when they talk about this company, their eyes literally light up. And you can hear the excitement for all of our futures in their voices. We couldn't be in better hands, let's put it that way. So we've got, I want to talk to you a little bit about Gary Connor, he's a tenured, successful cryptocurrency advisor. Actually bought some Bitcoin back in 2009 in its heyday when it first came out. He's the editor-in-chief of Altcoin Today, which is one of the leading newsletters for alternative currencies. He's an expert within this industry. And he has labeled Capricoin the perfect coin. And let me tell you, he has been introduced to a lot of different alternative currencies and has stated that none of them really were any different than Bitcoin. They were all kind of copying what Bitcoin was doing and thinking that they were unique. And when we introduced Visionary and Capricoin to him, he was truly impressed, and he could see that we were unique, and he actually thought that we were in his head and spying on him and his thoughts, because he'd always wanted to do this with an alternative currency. He knew how it could be done perfectly. I mean, Bitcoin's got its challenges and its flaws, and we've been able to surpass those and correct those. And it's really nice to have a third party edifying Capricoin. So how can we make some money with Visionary? There's actually 12 ways. And what's really nice is that there's 5 ways you can earn money without sponsoring or recruiting. And obviously the first one is just owning Capricoin in itself. It's going up in value on the external exchanges. It goes up and down, I'll be honest, like any other true cryptocurrency does and should. But what you want to look for is a nice, steady growth of valuation. And we've got that with Capricoin. You can go to bittrex.com and coinmarket.com and actually look at those charts, and you'll see it. So the second way you can make money is with staking on external wallets. We've also got a retail platform where all members have a website, and they can actually sell their Capricoins that they've purchased for wholesale to retail customers. And there's a 20 to 40% bonus for participation, just for participating in mining in the Capricoin. And we've also got the cash back that'll be coming up with our merchants as well. And now, if you do choose to build a business with Visionary, you can add an additional 7 income streams to your business. So we've got a getting started bonus, a fast start bonus. We've got direct sales commission, that is 10%. We've got a binary network team commission, which is all the way up to 32,000 euros per week, just for building a team and helping others actually do what we all should be doing anyways, and protecting our money and owning our own money, managing and controlling our own money. That's what we're offering here with you with Visionary. And of course, there's a matching bonus that's 5 to 10%. We have a customer bonus, and we have the Capricoin loyalty program. We've got packages that you can come in, obviously, and all the money that you put into these packages goes towards what we call mining Capricoin or accumulating Capricoin. All of it except for 47 euros, which 47 euros goes towards your back office and administrative fees. So you've got a bronze level at 97 euros, you get 3 slots. Silver at 297 gives you more slots. Gold at 897 euro gives you 56 slots. Platinum at 1,997 gives you 150 slots, and Visionary gives you 5,997 euros and gives you 500 slots. All this means is that the higher package you have, the more Capricoins you will be accumulating and mining for. And the best part about our business, though, is as well, and one of the biggest reasons a lot of people don't have success within the network marketing company is that we don't have mandatory auto ships. And a lot of times, that is why a lot of people are not successful in network marketing, is because when they bring members on, a lot of the members that they bring on sometimes always can't afford that monthly subscription or that monthly auto ship, right? If it comes between putting food on the table or paying for their monthly business fee, which one is the first to go? What's nice about ours is that we don't have those mandatory fees. And so if you can't afford to mine Capricoin that week or that month, you come back the next month and you mine when you can. So a couple of testimonials. Wendell here says, I'm fully involved with the booming e-commerce industry, and when I understood Visionary's vision with the digital currency Capricoin, it became clear to me that this will become a preferred payment solution for online merchants because it represents so much savings in transaction fees to them. So everyone's got their different reasons for joining Visionary, and obviously Wendell is very involved with e-commerce, so that part of the business really appealed to him. We've got Jill, who is actually a mother of, I can't remember, it's either 7 or 9 children. It's crazy. I completely admire this girl. She's one busy woman. But obviously, her number one reason for joining Visionary was to protect the financial future of her family. She wants more control over her money and her income that she's earned, so it's not all tied up with the central banks and broke governments. And Victor, who is a businessman, the reason he joined was very simple. He thought about the name and what it meant to him to have true vision. And for him, it was the act of, or power of imagination, which to him meant that the company founders really understand the importance of looking ahead into the future and determining the path to make this digital currency usable for common exchange of goods and services. Now, here's a man who really believes in the management behind the company. So the time is really now to get started with Visionary. Honestly, there will never be a better time. As more and more members join, the number of coins mined, the mining pools each week decreases. So therefore, every week, the cost to mine Capricoin actually goes up. Now, it's a good thing in one respect because, for Capricoin and our platform, it ensures that more people actually have some coins to spend at merchants rather than just a few people who have lots of coins. And of course, you can always join later, but the sooner you start, the more Capricoins you'll own. And 2016 will be the year for cryptocurrency and Capricoin. You really don't want to miss this. If you think that it's hard or complicated, or you just really don't understand it, the cryptocurrency and this blockchain and all this technology, it's okay because we've made it user-friendly. We do the mining for you. It's 100% automated software. You really don't have to worry about whether it's difficult or not. It's not. We've made it easy for you, and we'll save you time and money. Of course, everyone's time is precious, and that's why the system is automated. And we're all busy these days. We don't have enough time in a 24-hour day. So if you can't make a webinar, they're always recorded. So you can always catch up when you've got a free moment. Do I need to be a brainiac expert? Well, I told you at the beginning of this call, I knew nothing about this industry 9 months ago when I first got started. And to be honest, I still don't. I'm still learning every day. So no, you don't need to be an expert. If money's an issue for you, then I would just recommend the bronze package and coming in and getting your feet wet. Immerse yourself in our community. We've got Skype groups and Facebook groups. If you want to learn a little bit more and ask some of the leaders some questions, search for the term Visionary on Facebook and join our group and just start learning about cryptocurrency and where we're going and where we're headed, and get your questions answered. The great thing about this is it's still your money. So no matter what package you get, whether it's bronze, gold, platinum, Visionary, it's your money. It's just in a digital form. All you're doing is taking your paper currency that's in a bank right now, it may or may not really be in that bank account, and putting it into a cryptocurrency digital account where you actually really do own. You own, manage, and control your money. We're putting the power of your money back into your hands. And that is why this industry is going to take off. You can send and receive money with no fees. So I always say it'll make traveling smoother sailing. When Andy and I go over to Europe or travel, you don't have to worry about currency conversion fees, transaction fees. When we were in Spain, we actually got hit. We rented a car and we drove from not Benidorm. We drove to Benidorm, Barcelona. We drove from Barcelona down to Benidorm, Spain, which is the south of Spain. And we took this toll road, and we got not only hit with toll charges, which we expected, but we got hit with currency conversion fees and some other fee too that we were shocked with. We were completely surprised, but it was astronomical. We're like, oh, if we, can't wait for the day when we can actually pay for this toll road with digital currency. So I encourage you to take action today. I mean, if you don't, the only thing you can really expect is what you've currently got, and a number of fees, and also the worry that your bank actually might shut its doors tomorrow, or it might put capital controls on how much money you can take out. And really, actually, when you think about it, they already have in a way. I mean, how much money can you take out of your ATM every day? Do you have a limit? Because I know I do. And obviously, I'm here in Canada, and I bank at TD Canada Trust, but I'm only allowed to take out $1,000 a day. So I want to talk about our second mission. Not only do we want to create 100 millionaires in 2016, but this one's a little bit more of a real company mission. But we're here to really create Capricoin, which will allow our individuals or our members to participate in one of the most meaningful wealth transfers in the history of mankind. Guys, there will be the greatest wealth transfer in history happening soon. And this is what I'm talking about a meaningful wealth transfer. You can either be a part of this or not, or sit on the sidelines and watch. But I encourage you to just start and get involved and protect yourself. And that's all we're doing, is we're helping people protect themselves. We're shifting from a centralized, that's fee-ridden banking system to a no fees, no restrictions, instant peer-to-peer financial platform that can all be completed on a smartphone. It's really exciting, and it's happening now. There will never be a better time. Be one of the early adopters of Capricoin. So never again will we experience a financial phenomenon like the one that's about to impact us all. Are you ready? Bill Gates has said that the future of money is digital currency. And here's a man who knows what he's talking about. So it's really now the time to start mining. We call it mining your own business. You can really profit from the next wave of the digital revolution with Capricoin. I want to thank you all for attending. Decide to take action, put the power of your money back in your hands, so that you can have an affordable, efficient solution to send and receive money globally without all those excessive fees. Be one of those Capricoin millionaires that we're going to create in 2016. And I look forward to seeing you and meeting all of you at the next live event. Get in touch with our Facebook groups, get in touch with your person who recommended you to this webinar tonight, and ask them how to get started right away. And we'll see you soon. So thank you all, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night, everyone.